Welcome back to Ronin Recap. Now on to the next chapter.
Soon, two young men of medium build walked out of the Lamborghini and the McLaren P1. The two of them looked at each other, and there were faint sparks flashing between their eyes. They were full of provocation. After a while, Sun Lugwa, who was wearing a white shirt, said, "Big sister Jessen, I didn't expect you to be here." Song Jessen said, "It's rare for it to be so lively." "Of course, I can't miss it. What's the game today?" "That Sun Lugwa insists on giving me his P1. Although it's a little ugly on the outside, I can still reluctantly accept it," said Lu Yuhang, clad in a plaid shirt. "Shameless." Sun Lugwa grunted. "Big sister Jessen, Lu Yuhang and I are having a race. We're going to run a lap along East Mountain Road. The bet is my McLaren P1 and his Lamborghini." Lu Yuhang called out, "Everyone, you may all join the match. If you win, the McLaren P1 and the Lamborghini will be yours." Sun Lugwa frowned slightly when he heard this, but he did not say anything. After hearing Lu Yuhang's words, the crowd burst into cheers. Even though everyone present had assets of at least 100 million, they could not buy the McLaren P1 and the Lamborghini so easily. The McLaren P1 was a supercar that was worth 14 million. Lu Yuhang's Lamborghini had cost a lot of money to modify, and it was probably worth more than 14 million. In other words, once they won the race, they would immediately receive two sports cars that were worth at least 28 million combined. How could they not be excited? Lu Yuhang's mood improved when he saw how happy everyone was. "Big sister Jessen, you didn't drive your Ferrari EF90 over today?" "I came here with my friend." Song Jessen tilted her head and asked, "Lin Fan, are you going to participate in the competition?" "Might as well, since I'm here," Lin Fan said. "Do you mind if I become your navigator?" Song Jessen asked with a smile. "It'd be an honor," Lin Fan said. Lu Yuhang could not help but secretly size up Lin Fan. To be able to get close to Song Jessen, there must be more to him than meets the eye. "Brother Lin, so you like racing too?" "We're totally vibing. However, I think your Aventador hasn't been modified at all," Lu Yuhang said with a smile. "Yes, in fact, I've only had it for a few days," Lin Fan said. Lu Yuhang nodded and said, "I see. Brother Lin, I have some experience in modifying Lamborghini cars. If you want to modify it in the future, you can contact me at any time. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied." "If I need to modify it, I'll definitely contact you," Lin Fan said. "It's a shame you'll be going up against me tonight, Brother Lin," Lu Yuhang said. "Otherwise, we might have been able to have a good fight today." Obviously, he was implying that since Lin Fan's car had not been modified, its performance could not keep up with his Lamborghini. There was no way Lin Fan could overtake him. "We can still compete today," Lin Fan said. "Brother Lin, you're very confident. I like people like you." "Good, ha ha ha." Lu Yuhang laughed. Lu Yuhang looked like a rough Chad. However, he was very meticulous. He could easily establish any form of connection with others by exchanging a few words. It had to be said that none of these rich second generations were simpletons. "It's about time." Lu Yuhang called out. "Ladies and gents, get ready for the competition." Those who wanted to participate in the race heard this and got into their sports cars. In the end, a total of 8 cars were participating in the race. The rest of the people also wanted to win the McLaren P1 and Lamborghini. However, they knew very well that whether it was their driving skills or the performance of their own cars, they could not win at all. Since that was the case, there was no need to participate. By doing this, they could avoid embarrassing themselves. Song Jessen, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, asked, "Have you ever driven on East Mountain Road before?" "No," Lin Fan shook his head. Song Jessen could not help but tighten her grip on the armrest. "Later, you can drive slowly. This road is quite narrow. Moreover, there are many sharp turns, so safety is the most important." It was obvious that Song Jessen did not have any hope that Lin Fan would win. Even though she had already seen Lin Fan's outstanding driving skills, the unfamiliar roads and the inherent shortcomings of ordinary vehicles were not something that driving skills could overcome. All right. Lin Fan nodded. At this time, the referee standing in front of the cars waved the red flag in his hand. Boom! Instantly, a deafening rumble sounded at the foot of the mountain. Then, the 8 supercars galloped forward like wild beasts. Out of the 8 cars, Lin Fan's Lamborghini seemed to have the most average performance. However, with his professional driving skills, he overtook 3 cars and easily got into 4th place. Song Jae-sun looked at Lin Fan's familiar movements and nodded her head. There's an S-shaped curve 1 kilometer ahead. Alright, Lin Fan replied. As he finished speaking, his bright black eyes stared straight ahead. Be focused. Be calm. However, he did not even lift his foot off of the accelerator. On the contrary, he kept accelerating and accelerating. 200 kilometers per hour. 210 kilometers per hour. Song Jae-sun saw that they were getting closer and closer to the corner, and her heart was beating wildly. She could not help but ask again, Lin Fan, it's an S-shaped curve ahead. It was no wonder Song Jae-sun was so nervous. It was a mountain road. If they hit the railing at 200 kilometers per hour, the car would be destroyed and the people inside would die. Luck played no role in the matter. Finally, the Lamborghini arrived at the bend. Lin Fan still did not slow down. Song Jae-sun's face turned pale. Her beautiful forehead and palms were covered in sweat. Just as Song Jae-sun thought that they were going to hit the railing, Lin Fan finally moved. Screech! Lin Fan turned the steering wheel and the entire car was like a nimble fish. With a beautiful drift, it passed through the S-shaped curve. At the foot of the mountain. The rich second generation stared at the screen and let out a burst of exclamations. F***CK. That drift is simply too awesome. I thought they were going to crash. An expert. That was definitely an expert. After the S-turn, it was a straight road ahead. Lin Fan, safety is the most important. Song Jae-sun heaved a sigh of relief. Yeah, Lin Fan replied. Then, he stepped even harder on the accelerator. The car sped up again. 240 kilometers per hour. 250 kilometers per hour. Whoosh! Song Jae-sun only heard a whistling sound in her ears, and the scenery outside the window rapidly passed by. Song Jae-sun was stunned for a moment before she looked at the map. Lin Fan, there's a 90-degree turn 1 kilometer ahead. Okay, he said. Then, he sped up again. 260 kilometers per hour. Boom! Safety was the most important, but even if there was a 90-degree turn ahead, he kept accelerating. This was the first time. This was the first time Song Jae-sun felt fear and regret. Finally, Lin Fan's Lamborghini arrived at the bend. It was at this moment that Lin Fan made his move. He turned the steering wheel again and successfully made a 90-degree sharp turn. However, the Lamborghini's speed did not slow down at all. It easily surpassed the Porsche 918, which was in 3rd place. At this moment, Song Jae-sun's jade-like hand that was holding onto the handle had already become slippery due to sweat. She could not help but remind Lin Fan again, Lin Fan, you still have to be careful. This is a mountain road. Alright, he said. He stepped hard on the accelerator and sped up again. Seeing this, she was startled. Song Jae-sun opened her mouth but did not say anything. She was worried that if she continued to speak, she would be in even more danger. At the foot of the mountain. The second generation nouveau riche stared at the screen and started shouting again. F***CK, his drifting skills are amazing. Could this big shot be a professional racer? That's too awesome. It would be great if I had half of his skill. At this time, Sun Luo was driving the McLaren P1, and Lu Yuhang's modified Lamborghini was almost right next to him. Sun Lugwa glanced at Lu Yuhang and coldly said, "I'll shake you off at the next bend. I'll let you eat my fart later." Lu Yuhang grunted. Boom! At this moment, the two of them heard a beast-like roar behind them. They understood the cars and skills of the people in their circle. Logically speaking, they had already left them far behind, so no one should be able to catch up. Sun Lugwa and Lu Yuhang looked at their respective rearview mirrors with doubt in their hearts. The next moment, both of them were stunned. The Lamborghini Aventador. It was him, Lin Fan. Lu Yuhang was the most shocked. He was a Lamborghini expert. He was very clear about the difference in performance between a Lamborghini without any modifications and his own. Even so, Lin Fan still managed to catch up. How did Lin Fan do it? Even though he was surprised and confused, Lu Yuhang and Sun Lugwa did not slow down at all. In fact, they even went slightly faster. Originally, it was only the two of them competing. Now, there was another competitor. This gave them a sense of invisible pressure. Song Jiasun, who was sitting in the front passenger seat of the Lamborghini, saw the two cars in front of her. A hint of joy appeared in her heart. At the start, Song Jiasun did not think about winning the competition. Now, she saw a glimmer of hope. Very quickly, Song Jiasun discovered that she was happy too early. Boom! The Lamborghini roared. 260 kilometers per hour. 265 kilometers per hour. His speed increased once again. Lin Fan, there's a sharp V-shaped turn 1 kilometer ahead. Song Jiasun quickly said. Boom! The Lamborghini roared again. 270 kilometers. His speed continued to increase. Did she not make herself clear? There was a sharp V-shaped curve 1 kilometer ahead. In addition, there were also modified versions of the McLaren P1 and Lamborghini in front of them. Should he not slow down at this time? Why did he speed up? Sun Lugwa, who was driving a McLaren P1, and Lu Yuhang, who was driving a modified Lamborghini, were very clear about the route of East Mountain Road. They knew that there was a V-turn in front of them. The two of them had already planned to slow down. However, when they saw the Lamborghini in their rearview mirrors, their expressions changed. If they were to slow down, Lin Fan would definitely overtake them. As a result, neither of them slowed down at the first moment. The two of them did not step on the brakes until they were very close to the V-turn. They knew that if they did not slow down, they would be in danger. Racing was important. However, their lives were more important. Lin Fan, on the other hand, seemed to think differently. He continued to drive at high speed without any intention of slowing down. It looked like he was rushing toward the cliff. Song Jiasun was completely flustered. She anxiously said, Lin Fan, hurry up and slow down. Boom! 275 kilometers. 280 kilometers. The Lamborghini's speed increased again. It was as if Lin Fan did not hear Song Jiasun's words. His pair of black eyes were still staring straight ahead. He did not hear her? In truth, Lin Fan really did not hear her. Ding! Absolute focus activated, a flash of inspiration attained. Lin Fan was completely immersed in driving. Absolute focus. He was absolutely calm. Everything in the outside world had nothing to do with him. At that moment, Lin Fan only had one thought in his mind, faster, faster, even faster. Finally, his Lamborghini arrived at the V-turn. On the other hand, the McLaren P1 and the Lamborghini that had been modified sped to the curve one step ahead of the others. The mountain road was very narrow. Under such circumstances, it was impossible for Lin Fan to overtake them at the V-shaped turn. At that moment, Song Jiasun felt that Lin Fan had two choices. 1. He could step on the brakes and drift 720 degrees on the spot while trying to stop the car. 2. He could hit the McLaren P1 and the Lamborghini in front of them, causing a severe car accident. Lin Fan did not step on the brakes. It was obvious that he had made the second choice. Song Jessen's face was pale as cold sweat rolled down her face. Her heart was already in her throat. At this time, she used all her strength to hold the handle of the car and was no longer able to say anything. Is that guy crazy? Sun Lubwa cried out in shock as a layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. F***ck. Lu Yuhang screamed in a panic. Hiss. Finally, Lin Fan's Lamborghini made a beautiful turn. The Lamborghini on the left was a modified one that was almost sticking to the one in the middle. Lu Yuhang, who was sitting in the modified Lamborghini, could clearly see Lin Fan and Song Jessen. As for Song Jessen, she could see the railing that was less than 1 centimeter away from her, as well as the tires in the rearview mirror. Song Jessen's entire body was completely frozen. In the next second, perhaps she, Lin Fan, and even Lu Yuhang and Sun Lubwa, would all die on the spot. Boom! She only saw Lin Fan increase his speed again. His Lamborghini was like the king of beasts, and it was the first to pop its head out. Then, with the momentum that could command the world, he passed the V-shaped curve and sped forward. The modified Lamborghini and the McLaren P1 were following behind. They wanted to catch up, but they had completely lost the chance. At the foot of the mountain. F***ck. F***ck. What the F***ck just happened? Who can tell me what just happened? I thought they were going to crash into the cars. I was almost scared to death. He's a professional race driver, no. Even a professional racer can't do that. All the rich second-generation nobles were dumbfounded, and they jumped and shouted in excitement. It was because the scene in the video was too exciting and incredible. Even after overtaking all the other cars and taking first place, Lin Fan still did not slow down. The Lamborghini he was driving was drifting wildly in the dark night. They finally arrived at the foot of the mountain, where the second-generation nouveau riche were standing in a line to welcome them. Creak! Creak! Lin Fan opened the car door and slowly walked out. The second-generation nouveau riche quickly gathered around. Brother Fan, your skills are really amazing. I was dumbfounded by those few drifts. Brother Fan, are you a professional racer? Did you win a few championships? God of racing. Brother Fan, you must be the legendary god of racing. Lin Fan looked at how excited the rich kids were and could not help but laugh. I'm not a professional racer. I'm a student right now, and I'm in the same class as Song Jessen. Then, Lin Fan looked at Song Jessen, whose face was a little pale. He asked, "Are you alright?" Song Jessen shook her head and said nothing. When Lin Fan continued to speed up even after a sharp turn, Song Jessen was truly terrified. In fact, her clothes were completely drenched in sweat. However, at the same time, she also felt extremely excited. Her adrenaline was surging. Now that Lin Fan had successfully handled those curves and obtained first place with his extreme speed, Song Jessen felt an inexplicable sense of excitement. At this moment, Song Jessen's mind was filled with images of Lin Fan's appearance when he was so focused on driving. Her heart started to beat faster. Boom! Boom! After a series of rumbling sounds, the modified Lamborghini, McLaren P1, Porsche 918, and other vehicles arrived at the foot of the mountain. Lu Yuhang was the first to walk up to Lin Fan. He gave him a thumbs up and complimented him, "Awesome. Brother Lin Fan, your driving skills are amazing. You said that you could compete with me today, but you were too humble. How is this a competition? You were simply torturing me. To be honest, when we were passing the V-turn, I thought I was gonna be dead when I saw you rushing over so quickly. F***ck. I was so scared that I almost peed my pants." Lu Yuhang shivered as he spoke. It seemed like he had not recovered from the shock. "You're the best driver I've ever seen," Sun Lubwa said seriously. "You guys are overpraising me." Lin Fan smiled. Lu Yuhang said, "How is this an overpraise? This is the truth. As he spoke, he took out the car keys of the Lamborghini and said, "I'll leave this car to you. I'll be at ease with you as its owner." Sun Lugwa also took out the keys to the McLaren P1. It was obvious that they were going to fulfill their bet. "I don't want the cars," Lin Fan said, waving his hand. "Brother Lin Fan, are you joking? We had an agreement before the competition. If you don't take the cars now, won't you make people think that we can't afford to lose?" Lu Yuhang said with a straight face. "I'm willing to accept my loss," Sun Lugwa said. Lin Fan said, "Don't misunderstand. It's mainly because I'm studying in school. If I have so many cars, I'll have a problem figuring out where to put them." He was definitely not spouting nonsense. Generally speaking, each student could park at most one car in the school. 2 days ago, when the 4S store had sent the Mercedes-Benz G-Class over, Lin Fan had to call the dean of the School of Mathematics, Hu Chuan, before he could successfully park the car in the school. If there were 2 more cars, it would really be a little troublesome for Lin Fan. "If you really want to fulfill the bet, then help me look out for 100-year ginseng and 100-year spirit branch," Lin Fan said. "If you tell me where I can get them, I'll be extremely grateful. As for the cars, they're really not of much use to me." When Lin Fan said this, his tone became extremely serious. When the 2 of them heard Lin Fan say that, they did not insist anymore. Lu Yuhang hesitated and said, This isn't appropriate, right? Brother Lin Fan, don't worry, I'll have Lu Pharmaceuticals do our best to help you find the 100-year-old ginseng and 100-year-old spirit branch. Sun Pharmaceuticals will also help you find the 100-year ginseng and 100-year spirit branch as soon as possible," Sun Lugwa said. After the 2 of them said this, they heaved a sigh of relief. If Lin Fan had just accepted their supercars, they naturally would not have said anything. However, they would still feel a little heartache. After all, their supercars were worth 14 million. Now, helping him find medicinal herbs was simply a small matter to them. Lin Fan was happy. "If that's the case, thank you both. The 100-year ginseng and 100-year spirit branch could give him the right to buy medical water." This was what he was desperate to get. When the crowd saw Lin Fan reject the 2 sports cars so calmly, they could not help but sigh in their hearts. The 2 supercars were worth 28 million in total. He rejected them without even blinking. Instantly, they felt that Lin Fan was even more mysterious. As for the reason why Lin Fan did not accept the sports car, they did not think that it was because he was afraid of offending Lu Yuhang and Sun Lugwa. That was not even within their consideration. Would a man who was so close to Song Jiasun be afraid of offending others? Was that a joke? After that, Lin Fan, Lu Yuhang, Sun Lugwa, and the others chatted for a while. They also exchanged contact information. With everyone sending him off, Lin Fan drove Song Jiasun to Jiangbei University. This chapter's initial release occurred on the NOV/E/L/bin site. At that moment, there was no need to rush or race. Lin Fan drove the Lamborghini steadily. It did not look like he was driving a supercar but a small car. It was quiet and peaceful. A gentleman's gentleness was like this. Song Jiasun could not help but laugh. It's really hard to imagine that you're the crazy person who raced on East Mountain Road without any regard for your life just now. Lin Fan rubbed his nose and said, "A madman who doesn't care about his life? I still treasure my life a lot." Treasure your life? You increased your speed to 280 kilometers per hour to go through the V-shaped curve, yet you're saying that you value your life? Do you have any misunderstanding about how much you value your life? Even now, whenever Song Jiasun recalled that scene, her heart would still beat fast. All right, why would someone like you major in mathematics? Lin Fan asked. Then, what do you think a person like me should major in? Song Jiasun laughed as she asked. Lin Fan thought for a moment and said, Management? Finance? Song Jiasun said, Maybe I think mathematics is more interesting or I'm better at mathematics? Actually, it doesn't matter what I learn. After all, you only learn a little from books when you're in school. After you graduate, you can just open 2 companies and you'll be able to learn everything. Opening 2 companies after graduating? Was this something a normal human said? However, Lin Fan understood that Song Jiasun was not bragging or boasting. To Song Jiasun, opening 2 companies was just a small matter. At this moment, Song Jiasun seemed to have thought of the problem that Lin Fan and Hu Tian had discussed on the podium 2 days ago. Of course, compared to you, I'm still far behind in mathematics, she said. Zhongbei University, dorm 502 of the female dormitory. The beautiful twins opened Lin Fan's WeChat conversation. At this moment, there was already a long paragraph of unsent text. Their nimble hands continued to dance at the bottom of the text. Read, "Hey, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me. The moon is so round today. Did you see it? I didn't see you play basketball today. Will you play tomorrow? There are so many stars in the sky today, and the weather should be good tomorrow. Will you go play basketball? Blue, hi, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me. The moon is so round today. Did you see it? I didn't see you play basketball today. Will you play tomorrow? There are so many stars in the sky today, and the weather should be good tomorrow. Will you go play basketball? The next day, the sky was clear and the breeze was blowing. In dorm 104. As usual, Ma Zhong was the first to wake up. Then, he woke Lin Fan, Zhang Jinbao, and Song Yi up. They had mathematics class in the morning. The old professor's teaching style was relatively old-fashioned and boring. It was as if Lin Fan was listening to a lullaby. He lay on the table and fell asleep. Lin Fan felt that sleeping on the table during class was more comfortable than sleeping in the dormitory or even the presidential suite. It was sweet and peaceful. Perhaps this was one of the benefits of choosing to go to school? In the afternoon, when he was eating in the cafeteria, Lin Fan's phone vibrated. 12 p.m. A red packet appeared. Ding! Congratulations, you've received 5 yuan. Ding! Congratulations, you've received 3,000 yuan. Ding! Congratulations, you've received the skill Professional Calligraphy. Ding! Congratulations, you've received 10,000 yuan. Ding! Congratulations, you've obtained a skill level up card. Lin Fan received a total of 50,000 yuan from the red packets today. He did not care about this at all. Lin Fan's attention immediately fell on the skill of Professional Calligraphy and the skill level upgrade card. Professional Calligraphy, the ability to write good words can increase your charm. In the past, in order to write good calligraphy, Lin Fan used many cultivation techniques. However, the effect was not satisfactory. Now that he had easily obtained the skill of Professional Calligraphy, he was naturally very happy. Skill level upgrade card, you can upgrade a skill level. Note, mastering more profound skills makes you more fascinating. Increase the level of a skill? Lin Fan's eyes flickered. Skills, professional driving skills, charming aura, 5% chance to trigger love at first sight and unforgettable love, violent aesthetics, drinking gentleman, absolute focus, 5% chance to trigger a flash of inspiration, professor-level mathematics experience, eyes of truth, professional basketball technique, pianist-level performance, professional calligraphy. Lin Fan muttered to himself for a moment. However, he did not try to level up anything right away. This was because these skills were all very good. If he could level up all of them, Lin Fan would naturally be extremely happy. However, he could only choose one, so he had to consider it first. Song Yi called out to him, "Brother Fan, I've invited a few friends to play basketball this afternoon. How about we go and have some fun?" Lin Fan already had a good rest in the morning. Playing basketball was not a bad idea. All right. He nodded. Song Yi's face lit up. After lunch, Lin Fan and Song Yi went to the basketball court. At that moment, the big, tan man and 3 unfamiliar men in jerseys were already waiting there. When the big, tan guy saw Lin Fan, he ran over and revealed his white teeth. He said happily, "Brother Fan, you're here to play basketball too." As soon as he finished speaking, the tan man wanted to give Lin Fan a bear hug. However, when Lin Fan saw the sweat on his body, he immediately dodged to the side and nodded his head warily. "Let's play basketball and exercise a little." The tan man was not angry at Lin Fan for dodging. He was still smiling. Exercise is good. Exercise is life. Then, he pointed at the three men in jerseys and said, "They're from the school's basketball team. Brother Fan, Song-yi, and I are more familiar with each other. Let's not split up randomly. Let's form a team of 3, the tan man said. The 3 men in jerseys were slightly stunned. Among them, the tall man wearing the number 4 jersey asked in confusion, "Are you sure?" After all, the 3 of them were members of the school's basketball team. They had even participated in a college basketball league. In addition, the 3 of them had played basketball with Song-yi and the big, tan guy before, so they knew that their skills were very average. Even so, they still wanted them to form a 3-person team just like this? Were they asking to be defeated? Of course, I'm sure. The big, tan guy replied. Alright, let's start. Song-yi and Lin Fan still have a class in the afternoon. The 3 of them looked at each other and slowly nodded. Since the other party was looking for a beating, then they would fulfill their wish. However, they soon realized that they were wrong. When the street basketball game started, the tan man and Song-yi got the ball and passed it to Lin Fan whenever they had the chance. Lin Fan did not let them down. He was proficient in dribbling, feints, jump shots, and layups. In order to counter Lin Fan, the other team did not hesitate to use 2 people to defend. However, it was still useless. Lin Fan was always able to find an opening to successfully score and shoot. Basketball was indeed a physically exhausting sport. Not long after, Lin Fan and the others were all drenched in sweat. The origin of this chapter's debut can be traced to N0/V3LB1N. The few of them panted heavily and wanted to rest for a moment. At this moment, 2 beautiful figures appeared under the basket with smiles on their faces. They were the beautiful twins in a long red dress and a long blue dress. Each of them was holding a bottle of energy drink as they looked at Lin Fan in anticipation. For me? Lin Fan was stunned. The beautiful twins nodded. Lin Fan did not stand on ceremony. He opened a bottle of energy drink and took a big gulp. After hesitating for a moment, he opened the other bottle of energy drink and took a big gulp. Sure enough, the beautiful twins' faces were filled with smiles that were difficult to hide. 2 small canine teeth the size of rice grains were faintly discernible, and they were extremely cute. Then, Lin Fan could not help but use his eyes of truth to observe the 2. The girl in the blue dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. The girl in the red dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. Ever since Lin Fan had added the beautiful twins on WeChat, he had never taken the initiative to send them any messages. As for the beautiful twins, they had never sent Lin Fan any messages either. Lin Fan thought that their favorability for him would slowly decrease. However, he did not expect that it was still 99. What was going on? When Lin Fan returned to the basketball court, the big, tan guy walked over and smiled. I seem to recall that the twins have been holding energy drinks and standing around at the basketball court for the past few days. It turns out they were waiting for Brother Fan. As expected of Brother Fan. Awesome. The tan man secretly gave a thumbs up after he finished speaking. When Lin Fan heard this, he was stunned once more. The beautiful twin girls had been waiting for him at the basketball court with energy drinks. Did they not already have his WeChat? If they wanted to see him, they could have just sent him a message. At this moment, Song-yi, who was standing in the distance, said, Lin Fan, catch the ball. The street basketball match began again. Lin Fan was the main force of Song-yi's team. He kept running, dribbling, and doing layups. If it was an ordinary person, even if they had similar basketball skills as Lin Fan, they would have been exhausted long ago. However, Lin Fan did not seem to have expended any energy at all. He was still the same. In fact, as time passed, Lin Fan became more focused and his skills improved. It was a completely different story for the basketball team. In order to defend Lin Fan, they had to use up their energy as time passed. The outcome was foreseeable. After nearly 2 hours of street basketball, the basketball team only scored 8 times. Lin Fan's team had scored 33 times. Bloodshed. For the first time, the 3 players on the basketball team fell into despair. In contrast to the despair of the 3 players on the basketball team, Sonny and the Big Tan Man were full of smiles. In the past, Sonny and the Big Tan Man had played basketball with the basketball team. However, they were always defeated by the basketball team. Now, they had finally experienced the thrill of torturing others. This made Sonny and the Big Tan Man feel as if they were people who had turned the situation around. Sonny said, "It's almost time. Let's go. We'll go back to the dormitory and take a shower with fragrant shower gel. We still have another class in the afternoon." At the mention of Tiantian's class, Sonny could not help but smile. At this moment, the tall man wearing the number 5 jersey, who was already exhausted, quickly said, "Lin Fan, your basketball skills are amazing. I wonder if you're interested in joining our team." "Sorry, I'm not interested." Lin Fan shook his head. To Lin Fan, playing basketball occasionally was still okay. It was also a way to relax. However, it would be too troublesome to join a basketball team. "Lin Fan, if you join our team, you can get 2 credits, number 5 explained. Also, this year's college basketball league is about to start. In the past, there was a senior who was selected by a CBA coach in the league and quickly became a professional player with an annual salary of 1 million. Lin Fan, with your skills, you'll definitely be able to shine in the league. You might even catch the eye of a CBA coach. Lin Fan, you should think about it again." After number 5 finished speaking, he looked at Lin Fan with anticipation. However, Lin Fan still shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, but I still don't want to join the basketball team." He could get 2 credits? What was the use of that to Lin Fan? Most people went to college to get their graduation certificate. However, Lin Fan had only come to the university to experience life. He did not care about the graduation certificate at all. As for being chosen by a CBA coach and becoming a player with an annual salary of 1 million yuan? That was even less attractive to him. After all, even if Lin Fan did not do anything, he could at least get 700,000 yuan a day. In the future, the number would only increase. Sonny was not surprised that Lin Fan refused to join the basketball team. That was because in Sonny's heart, Lin Fan was a super tycoon. Which super tycoon would risk their life to play basketball? Which one of them would be so free? Lin Fan looked at the beautiful twins and said to Sonny, "You go back to the dormitory first." "All right." Sonny immediately understood. Then, he pulled back number 5 and the others who were still trying to persuade Lin Fan. "What are you guys still standing here for? Do you think the sun isn't bright enough? Why do you want to interrupt the 3 of them there?" Then, he pulled them out of the basketball court. Soon, only Lin Fan and the beautiful twins were left on the basketball court. Lin Fan walked up and smiled at them. "Thank you for the energy drinks. By the way, we've met twice, but I don't think we've introduced ourselves yet. I'm Lin Fan. What are your names?" After he finished speaking, he took the initiative to stretch out his 2 hands. Then, Lin Fan realized that he had just finished playing basketball. There was a lot of sweat and dust on his hands. They were a little dirty. Hence, he prepared to pull his hand back. The beautiful twins seemed to have noticed that Lin Fan wanted to take his hand back. They quickly reached out their slender hands, not caring about Lin Fan's dirty hand at all. Just like that, they shook hands with him. The beautiful twins blushed and lowered their heads as if they had done something bad. Their silky, milk-like touch filled Lin Fan's heart. Then, the girl in the red dress tapped on her phone, and the words Xiaobing were displayed on the screen. The girl in the blue dress turned on her phone, and the screen showed the word Xia Shui in large regular script. "Can't you guys talk?" Lin Fan asked. The beautiful twin girls nodded and lowered their little heads. Lin Fan continued, "Xiaobing? Xia Shui? They're nice names." A pair of cute dimples immediately appeared on the beautiful twins' faces. Obviously, they were very happy. "Have you guys been waiting for me at the basketball court these past few days?" Lin Fan asked. The beautiful twins nodded. "But didn't we add each other on WeChat? If you girls want to look for me, you can just send me a message." He finally voiced out the doubt in his heart. The beautiful twins lowered their heads shyly and did not reply. When Lin Fan saw this, he did not force it. He was silent for a moment before he said, "Actually, I have a girlfriend." Then, Lin Fan carefully observed the changes in the beautiful twins' expressions. However, he realized that the two of them showed almost no changes. He could not help but wonder, did they not hear me clearly? "My girlfriend's name is Qin Yushuan. She's currently studying economics in Moto City," Lin Fan continued. After saying this, Lin Fan realized that the beautiful twins' expressions did not change at all. Their beautiful eyes were as clear as water, their faces were as beautiful as flowers, and their dimples were faintly visible. Lin Fan quickly used his eyes of truth to observe the beautiful twins. The girl in the blue dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. The girl in the red dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. Their favorability toward him had not decreased. What was going on? They already knew that he had a girlfriend. Lin Fan cleared his throat and asked, "You girls, don't seem to mind?" The beautiful twins nodded in unison. They actually nodded? What was going on? Lin Fan was completely confused. He coughed gently and said, "I still have a class later, so I'll go back and take a shower first. You guys should go back early. It's too hot here." He paused for a moment before continuing, "By the way, I won't be playing basketball for the next few days. You guys don't have to continue waiting at the basketball court. If I want to play basketball, then I'll send you guys a message?" Lin Fan asked. Hearing this, the beautiful twins' eyes lit up, and they nodded. After the beautiful twins parted ways with Lin Fan, they took out their phones and sent a message to beautiful Yen. "Xia Bing and Xia Shui, we met him again today." Beautiful Yen seemed to have been staring at her phone the whole time. She replied in 2 seconds. "Did he do anything to you?" Xia Bing and Xia Shui replied, "He shook hands with us." Beautiful Yen, he actually dared to hold your hands. He's simply a beast. Xia Bing and Xia Shui replied, "It was a handshake." Beautiful Yen, hurry up and give me his WeChat username. I want to give him a good scolding. However, after a long time, beautiful Yen still did not receive any news. Beauty Yen, hey. Where are you guys? Don't you guys know how to respect the elderly? Where are you guys? Are you going to anger me to death before you're happy? When Lin Fan returned to dorm 104, Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mai Zhong were preparing to go out. "Brother Fan, we're going to reserve our seats. Hurry up and come over," Song Yi said. "All right," he said. Immediately, the entire room became empty. Lin Fan had originally planned to take a cold shower. However, after playing basketball, his body was covered in sweat and dust, which could not be washed away easily. After a long while, Lin Fan finally walked out of the bathroom slowly. He looked at the time and realized that class had already started for a few minutes. He mumbled, "It's too late to go now. I'll just rest in the dormitory." After saying that, Lin Fan lay down on the bed and started to play with his phone. After more than an hour, Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mahjong came in excitedly. Brother Fan, it was such a waste that you didn't go to teacher Tiantian's class today. Zheng Jinbao shouted. You don't know how beautiful teacher Tiantian was today. And she even came down from the podium and came to our seats. That's right. I was so happy that I almost fainted. Song Yi said excitedly. That was the first time we were so close to teacher Tiantian. Mahjong agreed. Ring, ring. At that moment, Lin Fan's phone vibrated. He looked at his WeChat and saw that it was a voice message from Hu Tian. He clicked play, and Hu Tian's melodious voice immediately rang out. Lin Fan, you didn't come to class today. Were you delayed by something? I've been studying the twin prime number conjecture for the past few days. I have some inspiration but also some problems. If you have time, can you come to my office? Silence. The entire dormitory was silent.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and see you in the next chapter.